Hi, everyone. Dragons have been captivating humans for centuries. While they may seem like mere figments of imagination, dragons have a fascinating history. People have been fascinated by them for thousands of years. Dragons have been depicted in art and literature all over the world. But did you know that their origin dates back to prehistoric times? In fact, according to recent scientific discoveries, people have been fascinated by dragons long before they were able to draw them. But how does science prove the existence of dragons? Well, let's find out together. A strange discovery in northeastern China recently gave scientists a glimpse into the life of a group of cavemen by studying their paintings and other artifacts. Researchers were able to learn more about their way of life, beliefs, and the environment in which they lived. What's particularly interesting is that one of the main subjects of their paintings was a creature that looks a lot like a dragon. Now, you might say this is just a coincidence. After all, how could a group of cavemen living thousands of years ago have painted a dragon? Well, here's where things get interesting. The cave paintings show a creature that resembles a mixture of a reptile and a bird. It's huge, with sharp teeth and claws, a long tail and wings that allow it to fly. Does this description remind you of any mythical creature? Of course, the dragon. But that's not all. The caveman drawings also show scenes depicting hunting. And guess what? The prey in these paintings is none other than a deer. And wouldn't you know it, the deer is wearing a necklace made of bones. Archaeologists believe that the cavemen weren't just hunting animals for food, they also hunted them for their adornment. This discovery has shed light on the belief that dragons were real animals that cavemen hunted for their body parts, which they used to make jewelry. Over time, these animals became extinct, possibly due to climate change, war with other tribes, or simply because they were hunted to death. However, humans didn't forget them. Instead, they transformed these mighty dragons into mythical creatures with supernatural powers. In fact, this theory is supported by another piece of evidence. Fossil remains of a previously unknown animal species were discovered in 1957 in the Chinese province of Qinghai. The animal had a beak and teeth like a bird and a body covered in feathers. At first, scientists thought they were dealing with the remains of a dinosaur. But after further study, they realized that it was neither a bird nor a dinosaur, but rather a completely different species. Moreover, the fossils suggested that this animal died out around 65 million years ago, which means it could have been hunted by primitive people. This animal, known as the dragon bird, may very well be the inspiration for the dragon legends that have captivated humans for centuries. But wait, there's more. There's yet another piece of evidence that suggests dragons were real. In 1826, a whale skeleton washed up on the shores of the Hudson River in New York. Among its ribs, researchers found something truly extraordinary, a bone that looked like a human finger. This unusual discovery led to speculation that perhaps whales once had fingers just like us. However, there's another explanation for this phenomenon. The finger bone didn't belong to the whale at all. Instead, it was part of a basilosaurus, a prehistoric whale monster. Basilosaurus lived 35 million years ago and was truly a beast of the seas. Measuring up to 15 meters in length, it resembled a giant python more than a whale, with a narrow head and a gigantic mouth full of sharp teeth. The basilisk was a fearsome predator that hunted other marine animals, including smaller whales. The presence of the basiliscus bone in the whale's rib cage suggests that the whale had been attacked and eaten by this monstrous creature. But the mystery doesn't end there. You see, the basiliscus went extinct around 35 million years ago, long before the current species of whales evolved. Yet here we are, finding a whale with the skeleton of a prehistoric creature inside its ribs. Was this a one-off incident, or could it be evidence that whales have been around for much longer than we think? Could there still be other undiscovered fossils hiding in the depths of the ocean waiting to rewrite history? One thing's for sure. The discovery of the basilosaurus in the whale's ribcage has opened up a whole new world of questions and possibilities that scientists are eager to explore. Another piece of evidence that supports the theory of the existence of dragons comes from ancient Greece. Greek mythology is full of tales of heroes battling fearsome monsters, and one of the most famous of these monsters is the Hydra. The Hydra was a water-dwelling creature with 9 heads, and it was so dangerous that it took Heracles, the Greek hero, 9 labors to defeat it. But the Hydra wasn't just a mythical beast. It was actually based on a real animal that lived in the swamps and lakes of ancient Greece. Scientists believe that the Hydra was likely a type of giant salamander. which can grow up to 3 feet in length and have multiple heads. The description of the hydra as having poisonous blood also matches the characteristics of the rough-skinned North American newt, which has tetrodotoxin in its skin that can be deadly to humans. So what do you think? Do you believe that dragons were real animals that roamed the earth thousands of years ago? Or are they just figments of our imagination, creatures born from our deepest fears and desires? Maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. After all, humans have been fascinated by dragons for centuries, and there's no denying that they've captured our imaginations like no other mythical creature. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Now, moving on to another intriguing aspect of dragons, let's talk about how they breathe fire. You heard that right, fire-breathing dragons. They sound like a scene straight out of a fantasy movie. But did you know that some birds can also breathe fire? It's true. The hupalogist, a small bird found in South America, can squirt a burning liquid from its tail. When threatened, the bird sprays this burning liquid, which is made up of a combination of sulfur and oil from its uropygial gland, directly into the eyes of its predator. This burning liquid can cause severe pain and irritation, making it difficult for the predator to see and giving the hupalogist time to escape. But wait, there's more. This little bird isn't the only one with this amazing ability. Other birds, such as the starling and the common mina, can also spray a burning liquid from their bodies when threatened. Imagine being chased by a hungry predator and turning around to spray a burning liquid right in its eyes. It's a pretty nifty defense mechanism, and definitely not something you'd expect from such a small bird. It's important to note that while these birds can spray burning liquids, they can't actually breathe fire like the dragons in our stories. Breathing fire would require a much higher temperature and a different chemical reaction. Nevertheless, the fact that these birds have developed such a unique defense mechanism is a testament to the power of evolution and the amazing adaptations that animals have developed to survive in their environment. Perhaps over millions of years, some species of birds could have evolved to breathe fire just like their ancestors, the dinosaurs. After all, anything is possible when it comes to evolution. And speaking of evolution, have you ever wondered why dragons have wings? Wings are one of the most distinctive features of dragons, allowing them to soar through the skies and adding to their overall majesty and power. But did you know that the reason dragons have wings goes back to their ancient origins? Dragons didn't always have wings. In fact, they originated as wingless reptiles that lived on land. However, as they evolved over time, they developed wings that allowed them to fly. But why did they need wings? Well, it all boils down to one word: survival. Flying gave dragons several advantages over other land-dwelling creatures. It allowed them to access new sources of food, escape from predators, and travel long distances quickly. So it's no surprise that natural selection favored dragons with wings. Initially, their wings were probably quite small and not very efficient, but over time, they became larger and more powerful. Some species of dragons even developed the ability to glide, which gave them an edge over their wingless counterparts. Gliding allowed them to save energy while soaring through the air, making them more efficient hunters and travelers. Today, dragons with wings are a common sight in our books and movies. But it's important to remember that they didn't always have wings. Evolution is a powerful force that has shaped all living things on Earth, and dragons are no exception. So the next time you see a dragon with wings, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey that brought them to that point. From humble beginnings as wingless reptiles to the majestic flying creatures we know and love today. So whether you believe in dragons or not, one thing is for sure: they have captured the human imagination like no other creature. They continue to inspire awe and wonder in people all over the world. Who knows, maybe they're out there somewhere, hidden from our sight, waiting to be discovered. Until then, their legacy will live on in our stories, our art, and our dreams. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, subscribe to stay up to date on all our latest adventures. Until next time, happy hunting for dragons.